Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 22. In this episode, I will be talking to Aubrey Lesicki, and we talk about breast massage and breast health. Aubrey talks about a 5 to 10 minute breast massage that you can do for yourself. This is useful if you have breast pain, if you're nursing, or if you have breast cancer. Also, we talk about body shame and breast shame and what we can do about that. And just because something is weird doesn't mean that it's bad or that it can't help you. I know that you're truly going to love this episode, so stay tuned. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or you're badass, I'm glad you're here. We're all striving to be confident, bold, and authentic so we can live a life that we're passionate about. Today's guest is Aubrey Lesicki. Aubrey, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Marie.
Yeah, excited to have you on the show. But first off, before we go any further, I've got to ask you, do you consider yourself to be ordinary or badass?
I thought about this question and I'm going to go on the continuum of extraordinary.
Tell me about that.
I haven't quite tipped the scale of badass in my humble opinion, but I definitely have moved beyond the ordinary life.
All right.
Still working to continually improve and get myself firmly onto the plateau of badassedness.
Hey, extraordinary, I'll take it. Still pretty darn great.
Thanks.
So, Aubrey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I am a body worker. I went to massage school and started studying about the body, and I've always been fascinated with alternative medicine. My first foray into that was hosting a alternative medicine news talk show on the radio when I was in college. And I've always gotten into that, and it worked well for me to work with muscles and touch people. I'm a more kinesthetic type person. And over time, I finished massage school in 2002. That has turned into a focus on breast massage and women's health. And so I do wellness coaching with women, and I'm also doing breast massage with women. I work with all different areas of breast disease, whether it's clogged ducts during lactation or recovery from surgeries, or a lot of people have breast pain during their period. So I work with that, and I help women with questions on what are other ways that I can have a healthier body and healthier breasts.
What kind of alternative medicine led you to the point that you're at now? What different things did you practice or study?
Let's see. I was in a doctor's office first when I was 19 years old, and that was for a neurogeneticist. And so I started getting exposed to people who have difficult diseases that conventional medicine doesn't have an answer for. And so that happened at an early age. I kept getting exposed to these people who have chronic fatigue or some other crazy genetic disease, and conventional medicine's like, well, sorry, like here's some pills that might take away some of the pain, but there's nothing we can really do to fix you. So I worked with in different alternative medicine practices with acupuncture, homeopathy. They're calling it functional and integrative medicine now, where you mix different, like maybe you have a disease that needs a certain pharmaceutical medication, but these doctors have studied, well, when you take that pharmaceutical medicine, it depletes this certain vitamin. So let's take both those at the same time to mitigate the side effects in a natural way. Different IV therapies and injection therapies. I did a lot working in pain management clinics where they use platelet injections, stem cell injections. So a lot of different stuff. And I focus around any energy work and body work, and then coming up with easy over-the-counter tips and tricks that clients can do at home, that maybe in 5 or 10 minutes a day, they can get a little bit of resolution for their symptoms, is what I try to focus on.
So the 5 to 10 minutes a day, is that strictly for breast health, or is that for any type of wellness?
That's a good question. As part of my training going through breast health and then helping myself through my own chronic illness, I got a job at a chronic illness clinic. And so people needed a lot of help with lymph drainage or pain issues. So I got more involved with like, okay, these are people who are really sick, can't get out of bed. What's something simple that they can do for themselves to just feel a little bit better and move some of their fluids. So I've gotten more into what I call detox services. So people who are trying to recover from something and clear things out of their system, then we talk about the lymph system and how to reduce inflammation in the body as well.
So if somebody is feeling breast pain, what's something that they can do?
Oh, there's a really easy, my website has a 5-minute video on how to do a breast self massage. It's called FAST, PHAST, and that stands for pump and honk and around the clock and slide and twist. And these are all little moves that you can see in the video that increase the circulation of the tissue in the chest and the underarms. And I recommend it for men too, especially if they're really tight around their pecs. The same exact moves will work well on everybody, especially if they've had any kind of a chest injury or surgery. So it started out as something to recommend for women who were having premenstrual breast pain. And then as I shared it with people, people have reported that it helps them improve their posture and they have less headache. People who have had chest surgeries, like open heart surgery, say that it helps them to relax their chest muscles. Of course, breast surgeries, and even recovering from, if they've had asthma or a really bad like bronchitis or something where they're coughing a lot, they feel better from it. So it's really simple, and it's just a 5-minute thing.
So how would somebody know, like, if they should be doing this themselves or if they should seek a professional like you?
Oh, that's a good question. If there's not any, what I would call like advanced seriousness, if somebody has something, the first rule is if you try to do this and it hurts, don't do it. That's just stop and then take the protocol to a massage therapist and say, hey, I was trying to do this. Can you help me figure out why this hurts? Most of those people who are going to have a difficulty will have had a serious surgery in their chest area or radiation. So they're going to know who they are. They already have been told to be careful around this area, or they've had some kind of a cancer issue. Most healthy people can do it without any problem.
So if it hurts or they're having pain around it or they've already been told, then they should seek professional help?
Because sometimes, sometimes if they've been to a surgeon and the surgeon said, we had a hard time with your implants or something, we want you to be really careful with them, then they'll already have been told that. So those would be the people who have had significant breast surgery that involved putting something in or taking something out, like cancer. Most of my women who have had a basic breast reduction surgery, they love this. And I'm getting more men that, because all the hormones in our food, I think, or something, they're getting breast reduction surgeries as well, unfortunately. And people with that surgery, they love this, and it helps the scar tissue. And again, it's breastremediesseattle.com. And I've got handouts, self-care handouts on there and links to videos and things like that. And you can sign up for the newsletter.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out. Now, I have always been a traditional medicine kind of girl, but that comes from not knowing what the alternatives are out there. And it's probably not till more recently that I would be interested in alternative medicine. But if somebody's going to a traditional doctor, when should they consider staying there or possibly leaving and checking something else out?
For my journey personally, and for most of the people that find me, they started with a conventional doctor, and the doctor said, either there's nothing wrong with you when they clearly didn't feel good, or we don't have anything to help you. So I think most people don't realize that have already been dabbling in alternative medicine. I mean, even things like, oh, I eat this special soup every time I get sick that my grandma makes for me. I mean, that's
Right.
like using nutrition to heal your body, and that's considered alternative medicine. Um, Most people are going to get a massage when their neck hurts. So they're using alternative medicine. It's considered more complementary service and not strictly traditional. So most people are already kind of dabbling in the arena anyway. But I never like to, what I always say to people is, we can find somebody that can help you with this. I very rarely have I been in a position where there's nothing that can be done. And unfortunately, most of the people that come to me are being told by their conventional doctor, there's nothing we can do for you. And that's when they're like, okay, if conventional medicine has let me down, I have to try something else. And so that's usually how people find me, is their doctor said, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you. And they're like, yeah, but my breast really hurts.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's not cancer, so deal with it, or put a hot compress on it. And they're like, well, that's not helping. And then they come to me and I say, well, your bra is way too tight, and underwires cause a lot of pain for a lot of women. Why don't you try not do this 5-minute massage and buy some bras without underwires? And they're like, okay, that cured me. I mean,
Right.
it's a simple thing,
Yeah.
but it's considered alternative medicine.
Right.
So I like to give people hope.
Yeah. And I love that you said when someone comes to you and you don't know the answer, or you'll find something for
I
them,
will
or
find somebody that knows something about it, or I find a book for them, or usually it's a modality. I've worked with enough witch doctors, for lack of a better word, who do different weird things and have different strange therapies, that I'll say, well, why don't you try looking on this website for this particular movement therapy and see if we can find somebody in your area that you can work with. So, and my training that I did is a national school. So I'll get on there and I'll say, well, let's try these things for you at home. And then I'll get on there and find a therapist from my school, because then I know what they do, and then recommend to, because I have people from all over the country that contact me, and then they do the coaching online. We do some energy work online, and I say, well, you really still have a physical problem. Why don't you go see this person to get some body work done and loosen that up and see if you can release it.
so if somebody's having these issues or wanting to seek some alternative help, if they don't have you in their area, they can either contact you
Call.
online
Yeah.
and go
Yeah.
that route, or
Yeah, I
what's the
do.
best?
Yeah, I do virtual coaching all the time with people over the phone, and they can just go to the website. And sometimes it's weird. It's just weird, funny things. Or the other people who call me a lot are, I have family members with an issue and I don't have any issues yet, and the doctor says I'm fine, but I don't want to get the same issues that my parents got.
Right.
So that I say, well, why don't you contact these people that I know who do genetic counseling, and see if there's anything else that you can do to tweak your diet to reduce the chances of you getting this. So we'll spend like an hour, 90 minutes online. We get some connection to what's going on. It's usually daily habits. Daily habits are a big thing, and family of origin issues. So they'll say, well, my dad had this back pain and my grandpa had this back pain. And so we look at what are the family habits that they might have, or cultural habits they might have gotten. And sometimes it's mental and emotional habits. And I've had to learn a lot about that, both through, once I started talking to women about breast, and there's so many emotional issues around the chest and breast area, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
shame for women, a lot of women talking badly to themselves about, oh, well, I don't like my breasts, they're too big, too small, too this, too that. And then a lot of adolescent shame that gets tucked in there. So I started working on women, and I had to come up with a way to talk to them in a kind manner, and then respond to them when they had these things. And so referring them to psychologists, and at least identifying the emotional memory that's stuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes that's it. and I had this experience when I started doing body work because I used to have chronic migraines. And so my very first massage, I had this memory from when I had an injury when I was like 5. And I was like, that's strange. I'm 20 years old and I'm suddenly remembering when I was roughhousing with my dad and I hurt my shoulder. And somehow that got triggered during the massage. And it was basically, I started getting obsessed at that point with like, what is this weird stuff? And what's this mind body connection? And then it was like 5 years later that I got into massage school and stuff. I'm like, I have to see why and how this works.
Yeah.
And so I've been studying a lot more about how, but after or in, I don't know, at the same time or in addition to the migraines, I started getting different mood disorder. I didn't realize it's what I had in my 20s. And I finally, when I was in my early 30s, got a diagnosis of mood disorder, cyclothymia, which is a variant of bipolar. And they're like, there's not a lot of treatments that are conventional medicine is basically like, here's a pill. And the pills would work some for me, but it wouldn't take care of all the symptoms. So then I was doing different counseling and different support groups and different body work and different acupuncture and mixing all of these and different lifestyle changes to do what one of my new favorite authors, Stanley Rosenberg, calls somatopsychology. So how could I get my body to positively affect my mood and change it around? And how was my mood affecting my body? And a polyvagal theory is the hot new topic that actually explains the mind-body connection and how the nerves are working. So I'm going to be talking more about that when I teach my whole body breast health class online.
And what's the name of the theory again?
Polyvagal. So Poly vagal, VAGAL. And it's all about the vagus nerve and its connection between the brain and the body, and how feedback from our body tells our brain certain things. And then our frontal cortex makes up stories about what our body is telling us.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oh, I've got an upset stomach because I ate something funny, but I'm eating something funny and my stomach's upset at the same time that I'm talking to somebody. And so my feeling of upset starts to be projected onto the person in front of me.
Mm-hmm. And would
And
that
it's
be
not the person, it's my stomach that's
right
causing the upset, but then I just make up a story in my head.
Right.
Like that's one example of like
And
how it works.
would that also be like your shoulder when you were getting the massage and then you took it right back to like being a kid and that incident?
Yeah.
Or no, is that different?
It's related. It's a little bit different, but it's like a related pathway. Like
Okay.
there's a place around the hypothalamus and in the limbic system that stores memories that are attached to certain sensations in the body. So we can get a memory triggered by a smell, by a visual, or by a touch or a motion in a certain direction, where she moved my shoulder in just the right position that it triggered a sensation that reminded me of the sensation of when I hurt my shoulder when I was a little kid. And I went to the emergency room and it was a whole traumatic thing. So
Right.
that got locked in the emotional memory because it was so scary,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to other things like, oh, I tripped and torqued something, but it was over with in a couple days and there's not really much connected to it.
Right.
So the body remembers. And so
Yeah.
once we start to listen to the body and get feedback, we realize that, oh, like there's actually things that I could do for myself to make my body happier and healthier without having to wait until it gets bad enough to go to the doctor.
Right. Right. So your journey sounds like it's been pretty interesting to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
Is this something you had laid out all along, or did you just kind of follow the
Oh,
steps as they went? Can you talk about that a little bit?
no, I went to college and I wanted to be a psychiatrist. And then I started hanging out with the other med school, pre-med people, and I did not like them at all. And I didn't enjoy the pre-med classes. And so I was like, okay, this is not, and I wasn't sure what to do.
Right.
And I was already getting my biology and psychology degree. So I just finished that because I didn't know what else to do. And then it was once I started having trouble with my migraines that I got introduced to body work and osteopathic doctors and getting different massage and acupuncture and homeopathic things that were all helping my headaches. And this was after I'd gone to doctors and they're like, well, there's nothing you can do. We'll just give you Vicodin. And I'm like, well, that doesn't, like, it makes the pain a little better, but it doesn't stop me from getting migraines 3 times a week, which is
Right.
it. I'm going to get fired from my job if I keep calling in sick. So these things helped me. So then I started to investigate, well, maybe I could do this first and help somebody else. And so then I got into the massage school, and then it just kept going. And when I finally started getting exposed to people that the big one was a homeopathic practitioner who had a home birth and was having trouble with clogged duct, and her lactation consultant was trying to show her husband how to massage the clogged ducts so that she wouldn't have to get mastitis and have to go on antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, it was illegal for the lactation consultant to massage the woman's breast directly, so she had to direct her husband how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend was so mad because she's like, my husband doesn't know what he's doing. Why would a breast professional be exempted from being able to legally work on my breasts for me? And it was kind of like a moment of like, get your laws off my body type of thing.
Uh-huh.
Like, if I give consent to another medical professional to work on my breasts, then what business is it of yours?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then around the same time, I got what I call an accidental breast massage, where I went to it was like a European trained massage person, and did this whole full body front chest thing where, like, short of working on my nipples, worked on the whole chest. And I didn't know it was happening, but it was so smooth and I felt so good afterwards. And it didn't feel weird or icky or anything. I just could breathe so much better. I was like, wow, this is an amazing experience. They're telling us in massage school that you can't touch this area, but this professional worked on this breast area, and I feel great. So I was getting all these weird messages about it, and then I was like, I want to do more of this. And it took me let's see, I finished school in 2002. It took me 7 years to find training in it. So
Wow.
that's what really got me into where I'm at. Is it took me 7 years of poking around and doing breast training and lymph training and post and operative training and pregnancy training, like in the massage realm. So I went all over the country taking a dozen different classes to get the information that I now offer to other massage professionals in a 3-day class.
Yeah, I love that. So, did you get any grief along the way? Like people thinking you were weird for getting
Oh,
your
wow.
bachelor's degree, then, going to massage school and then taking all these alternative classes.
Yeah, I went to massage school in Chicago, so people could relate to it because there's a tourism industry. They're like, oh, you're going to go work for a hotel and do spa massage or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, well, no, that's not what I had in mind. I want to help people who are in pain and are sick, but that was kind of, at least people could kind of understand it at
Yeah.
that point. And then as I started getting more into women's health and breast massage, like I always, when I tell guys, yeah, I work with women's health and breast massage, they're like, oh, haha, how do I get that job? I hear that all the
Right.
time. Um, and it goes 50-50. Half the time people are like, wow, that sounds like something that would be really important for people for breastfeeding or cancer. So they kind of get it. They have a place to put it. And the
Mm-hmm.
other half of them are like, well, that's sexual. What are you doing touching somebody in an area that's reserved for sex in the US society?
Right.
That's very strongly influenced. So we get to talk about the difference between intimacy and sexuality then. Um, so that comes up in class. I got involved with writing the regulations around breast massage in Washington State because they didn't have anybody who knew anything about it when they were drafting laws a few years ago. And so I got volunteered and got involved with writing regulations. So I've seen the legalities of it. I've seen the different ethical issues and intimacy issues. I've been hired for cases where the client is accusing the massage therapist of massaging in an area that they didn't consent to, around breasts. And so it's all been very fascinating. And I
Yeah.
never, ever, ever saw any of this coming. It was a lot of saying yes, basically. People are like, could you do this? Or like, can you help me with this? And I'm like, yes, I can try. And if I can't, I will find somebody who can. And so a lot of it was saying yes to strange opportunities.
Is it just saying yes and figuring it out kind of as you
Yeah.
go? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you shut out the haters, the people that didn't understand it or thought it was weird?
Um, I usually rely on the pink ribbons at that point because I'm like, well, there's a lot of people that have breast cancer and breast surgeries and they have a lot of pain from that. So this is a very useful modality for people who have pain in the chest after getting mastectomy or getting lumpectomy. And so usually like they can grab onto that much because then
Right.
it's like, oh, well, I want people with cancer to have help. So they stick themselves on there. But
Right.
I promote breast massage for wellness and prevention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's one of those things where I have to say things like wellness and relaxation, but my goal is that if we increase circulation and become kind of more open, not only open chested, but open hearted, and have more circulation and openness in this area and are nicer to our breasts and tell them that we love them, then we're going to have less cancer, honestly.
And I, how can it help with prevention? I don't understand that part. I'm just kind of
Yeah,
ignorant in that area.
yeah, the two things that I've researched that tell me that improving circulation in the breast area is important toward preventing cancer is there's a lot of correlation now that they found between the incidence of cancer is higher in societies that wear bras, and bras will reduce circulation.
Okay.
And there's a great guy, Sydney Ross Singer, who has some great articles from doctors who study the lymph system.
Mm-hmm.
And they've seen that when they reduce circulation in an area, it's not always the breast, but in any area where they reduce circulation significantly, they see an increase in cellular debris and an increase in cellular mutations when the
Mm-hmm.
cells can't release their waste products and bring in clean nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime we can improve lymphatic flow and improve circulation anywhere in the body, it's going to help the cellular health. And the
Okay.
healthier the cells are, the less likely they are to mutate into cancer.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's a big one. And then the
yeah.
other one is they're not talking about how cortisol and stress induces cancers to metastasize. So if
Oh,
you have
okay.
two rats and they can make genetically identical rats and give them genetically identical cancers, and you're nice to one rat and you're mean to the other rat, the rat that was stressed out and you were mean to, that cancer will metastasize. And the same cancer in the rat that you are nice to will not metastasize,
Hmm.
which from a genetic perspective doesn't make sense. It's the
Right.
same cancer, so it should
Yeah.
behave the same, but it doesn't depending on the environment. And
Right.
the biggest metastasizer that they're not talking about, which is another thing I like to talk to people about, is like, what is your doctor not telling you? Is stress and high cortisol levels are encouraging cancers to metastasize.
Right.
So massage is relaxing,
Yeah. Very
which will
interesting.
reduce cortisol levels.
Yeah. I never knew that. So I appreciate you explaining that to me.
No, most
Um,
people don't. And that's why I'm hosting a class, and I'm doing it 5 weeks, a class, 1 hour a week, to try to give people, like, basically each week we'll have one thing that you can do for yourself and kind of explain why this stuff works. Because if your brain is behind it, I find then your actions will follow it. Like when I understand something and it makes sense to me, then I'm more
mhm.
likely to do it.
Right.
So when
Right.
somebody gives me a lot of great reasons why something works, then
Totally.
I'll make it happen.
Right. So for somebody that has breast shame, is there a way they can reframe their breast shame or something that they can say to themselves?
Oh, that's a great question. Because a lot of women have body shaming issues or body dysmorphia or other discouragements. What I usually go after for women is that the first thing to remember is that breasts come in all shapes and sizes, and almost none of them look like they do in Hollywood.
Right.
So all the breasts in Hollywood, they're taped up, they're photoshopped, they're augmented with surgery. So our picture of what's normal and what our breast should look like doesn't exist,
Yeah.
really,
Even what you see on
without
social media,
augmentation.
that doesn't mean that's real.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All the things that we're seeing on TV and the internet, those aren't real. So the first thing to assume is that your breasts are, if your breasts grew the way they grew, that they're normal.
Right.
I have had the experience of going to naked spas and topless spas in where I live. They've got them in the Seattle area. And once I saw how many different shapes and sizes of breasts there are, I'm like, oh my God, like no two look alike. So there's not like a type of breast even. They all look different. They're all, different areolas, different shapes, different hangs. So that's the first thing is that I tell women. I'm like, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of breasts,
Right.
and no two look the same.
Yeah.
And no woman is, I can't say no woman, but 99% of women are not happy with the breasts they have anyway. So we could start with just accepting the fact that whatever breasts we were born with are perfectly normal and natural.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And just start with that. And I also go to the point of, it's an amazing feat for women to grow an entire organ in adolescence on the outside of their body. Like, that's cool. Like, it's an organ that
Uh-huh.
feeds other humans.
Right.
It's
Right.
amazing. So I
Yeah.
start with stories about how cool the anatomy is, stories about there's different evolutionary theories about how breasts help with social engagement and have helped us evolve. So we talk about stories like that. And the biggest thing that I go over with women is your breasts are perfect just the way they are. And no matter what size they were, you would want something different. So how about you just start with accepting what you've got, and at least thank
Yes.
them for being healthy. Like, if you're in a position where you're blessed with not having, you're in the 88% of women who have not had any breast cancer, just say, thank you, breast, for being healthy.
Right.
I wish you were a different size sometimes, but I'm so grateful that you're healthy.
Yep.
Being grateful.
Yep. And I'm a big believer in whether it's your breasts or your body, like you just have to appreciate yourself where you are. Because if you
Exactly.
don't, then you're not going to appreciate it no matter where, no matter what. Even if you get surgery or get something to fix it, you'll find something else to be unhappy about.
Exactly. And I've got like women who only have one breast now. And I say, well, make sure the breast that you still have, that you're super nice to it and you tell it how much you care about it, instead of being so upset about the breast you don't have.
Right.
Be grateful
Right.
for the breast you still do have. Like, start somewhere. You can
Right.
start
Yes.
somewhere.
Yes. And sometimes it's just the small things. What is something that you wish that most women knew about in regards to breast health?
Breast self massage helps. 5-minute breast massage. I have countless emails and text messages from people. They didn't even see me as a client. They just downloaded the video and the handout and did it. And they messaged me. They're like, holy cow, this actually worked. Thank you so much. My breast, they estimate over 70% of women have breast pain, but only 4% of them talk to their doctor about it. And just doing a little self massage, especially after you take off a bra, because it's usually pretty tight during the day, so you improve the circulation.
Mm-hmm.
So that breast massage and self massage helps for lots of reasons.
Okay, awesome. And we'll
And
get
staying away from underwires.
Yeah.
those are the two things. Like, I tell, like, stop wearing underwires and massage your breasts, and then don't wear your bra to sleep.
Okay, so yeah, those
And
3 steps, and then we'll get your website here in a minute. Let's end with a tip to encourage women who are in the arena fighting for the life that they want, and then also you can share how we can connect with you.
Okay. Don't be scared if it's weird. I think that would
I
be
like
it.
it.
I've had enough weirdness in my life that just because it's weird doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
It's
Yeah, I
harder
love
to
that.
predict what's going to happen when it's weird, so it's scarier, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to work just because it's weird.
And it doesn't mean it's wrong.
And it doesn't mean it's wrong. So just because it's weird, if you feel passionate about it, go for it.
I love that. And how can we connect with you?
Yeah, breastremediesseattle.com is the easiest way. My number's on there. You can text me. My email's on there, info@breastremediesseattle.com, but all that contact information is there. If you're in the Seattle area, we can do treatments in person, but I'm happy to connect over virtually. In February, I have a group coaching class that's going to start, so people can join that. And I'll have, this will publish a little bit after I'm starting a 5-week course online that people can join, but it's all recorded. So if you join late, that's fine. You can watch the recordings. And I'm just trying to create a community where women can talk to other women about some of the breast issues that they're experiencing and help normalize things. So we'll have the coaching online and talk about different breast health topics each month, and then create a community so that we can ask each other questions.
Yeah, I love that so much. I really love what you're doing. So Aubrey, thank you so much for being on the show. You're a total badass, and I've enjoyed hearing your story.
Thank you. I appreciate the promotion.
With that, we'll end our show. And to all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it. Thank you for listening to this episode of the show. As a newer podcaster, I would be so grateful if you went over to iTunes and left a review. That way, people just like you can learn about the show and become a listener. Also, I would love for you to screenshot your review and send it to me over on Instagram @ordinary2badass. So that way I can make sure to thank you. I'm so appreciative of you. Talk to you soon, friend.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass, and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.